Let's talk about family entertainment. You're about to hear the latest trends, expert insights, and behind-the-scenes stories of family fun centers. We'll be talking with arcade vendors, food vendors, attraction vendors, plus sharing life stories of owner-operators and much more. Stay tuned for engaging and informative content that will keep you coming back for more. And now, here's your host, Jeff Pierce of Atomic City Family Fun Center with the FEC World Podcast.
Hello, everyone. This is Jeff Pierce once again with the FEC World Podcast, here to help you in all things of family entertainment. Today, we have Chris with us from LaserForce. Chris, how you doing?
Jeff, I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me on.
Well, not a problem. So tell me about yourself and how you got in the family entertainment business and, what you do.
Sure. Well, as mentioned, my name is Chris Epstein. I'm with LaserForce. I do business development. So I get to wear a couple different hats kind of across the business. And I've been with them for 3 years. My story is kind of an interesting one. I started out working at an FEC. Back in the day, it was standalone laser tag with some arcades. And of course, like everybody else since then, this was probably early 2000s, 2004, 2005, kind of around that time. And just doing that because I loved laser tag, right? And I was a player before I ever worked at a laser tag arena. So I kind of have this long history of playing laser tag and getting to work in the arena, kind of my first job in high school and kind of through school, I was working at a laser tag arena. I've had the privilege to go and travel all over the place playing competitively. And that's been a lot of fun. From there, Jeff, I kind of took a detour out of the industry into public education after graduating from college. And I did that. I'm in Texas, so football is king. So I got to coach and teach for 10 years. And then the opportunity opened up for me to come back and be a part of the industry again, laser tag industry, and first love. And I jumped at the chance, and here I am.
Yeah, Chris, that's pretty cool. How a lot of times the jobs in high school or right out of high school are kind of a stepping stone. Kind of
crazy, yeah.
And so you went into education. Now you're back into family entertainment. So that just shows me you're here to help people.
It is, Jeff, and you're absolutely right. It's kind of wild to think that, being able, like taking something you love, like laser tag, and making it a career. So, I mean, I love what I do. And that's I think the best part of the job, man, is just like you said, you got employees, and if you told them, hey, you never know, right? You just never know. So take it serious, do the best you can, because you just never know where it's going to lead you and what relationships you're going to make.
Chris, here at Atomic City, we're going to be celebrating 4 years of being open December 26th of this year. And we still have some of the regulars that hired on with us, and they have moved up that ladder. So that's very encouraging to others who's thinking about, wow, what am I going to do for employees? What am I going to do for staff for my new facility? Or, employment or staff has been really hard to come by here lately, the past few years. But having those that can stick around is great. And it means a lot. So tell me, for someone who's thinking about opening up a family entertainment center, tell me why they should pick laser tag. Tell me the greats about why you should have laser tag and what kind of revenue it could bring in your facility.
Yeah, well, and I'm just curious to get your thought on that first, Jeff. So you've obviously been there and done that, right? And you were deciding, and things were being laid out for you, and you had a lot of options. Right. Wonderful facility, it's huge. You could put a bunch of different things in there. So I'm kind of curious just to kind of hear your thoughts, like what ultimately you've made this decision, right, in real life. So kind of what was your thought process with adding laser tag?
Well, there was no doubt that and go-karts were the first thing that was brought up in our meetings about what do we want in our facility. So laser tag, since day one, again, we celebrating 4 years in December. It hits 2 or 3 in the top 72. 72 meaning 72 card readers. We do a card swap to play laser tag. So since day
Yep.
one, it's been number 2 or number 3 in our books, and people are loving it, and all ages. I mean, they have, the birthday parties go nuts, the corporate parties go nuts with it. We've actually had some competition and some fundraising
Yep.
doing laser tag activities. So definitely a number 1 in our book, and we have never regretted having laser tag in our facility. Highly recommend
Yeah.
it.
And I think you hit the nail on the head. It's just such a versatile attraction. Birthday parties, corporate, walk-in. You can kind of just you name it, and laser tag can do it, right? And I think it's a versatile attraction. That's number 1. It has a wide audience. You can be almost any age, and it's fun for anybody. It's hard to go into laser tag with a group of people and not enjoy it, right? So it's
Exactly.
fun. The other thing too about laser tag, I think that does really well is it is also a game that's hard to replicate outside of centers, right? I mean, it takes a lot of work opening up a laser tag arena. There's a lot that goes into it. You really get that immersion being in the arena, wearing that equipment. And I think that's something where people know that they're going to have to go seek it out and play it in centers. It's hard to replicate outside of, like at home, right?
Right.
So that's another big reason. And then the third thing I think it does really well is it's proven, right? It's not a huge gamble. We're not talking about something brand new where you're like, I hope this works, right? Like this is, it's a sizable investment. A lot of attractions are. So when anytime as an operator, you're like, I want to make sure I get something here that's going to work. And like you said, hey, it may not be, number 1 all the time in swipes or things like that, but it's constantly going to be towards the top, right? And I think that's what people are looking for. I mean, you got to have those things that are proven. It's been around since 1984 commercially. And so we're talking about, 40 years of just people playing it, enjoying it. Obviously, we've come a long way and technology's changed and it continues to grow. But time proven is the number 1 thing. And it's just going to be a great wide ranging attraction for everybody to enjoy.
Exactly. And really it's a different experience each time they come in, even though it's the same theme. It's still a different experience, and you'll have different hosts at different times, and highly recommend that you really train your host to just get involved, be part of the game, and put suspense in people's minds when you're telling them
Absolutely.
Look for, tell the story about it, and it just ups the experience each and every time, gives you a lengthier experience as well.
Yeah, and that's also just a huge part of laser tag in general is it does have that replayability, right? Like you said, every experience is going to be different because you're going in there with different people, different competition levels, there's different games. And I absolutely advocate for your employees. I mean, one of the things I think that's great about laser tag is you're going to find people like me that love to play laser tag, that's their dream job is like, I would love to work at a laser tag arena and be involved in laser tag all day, right? So you're going to find people that'll take it very serious and, really sell that experience in the sense of making it fun for the guests, making sure they understand how to play and, just going that extra mile. So you absolutely I love to hear it, that you encourage your employees to really get involved.
So Chris, someone that's building a facility right now, and their plans, they have laser tag in their plans and they're excited about it. How can we get them going with laser tag? Tell me the process.
So, I mean, the 2 things I think that are most important, and Jeff, you probably know this, is number 1, you have to figure out the space you got, what you're working with, right? We kind of work backwards from there, right? Because that's going to determine a lot. That's going to determine budget. That's going to determine 2-story versus 1-story. That's going to determine how many vests you can have, how many players you're going in there at a time. So that's, I think, mission critical is you get in there and you say, this is how much space I want to allocate, or this is how much space I have, you were blessed. You got a pretty good size facility. So it was probably like you could have some options on sizes and things like that. And sometimes you just got what you got, and you make the best of it. So that's number 1. And from there, I think the choice becomes, what kind of experience do you want to provide people? I think there's a laser tag kind of as a, hey, like this is an option. And then there's laser tag as an anchor. And I think those are different experiences. Both are fine and they fit different business plans, right? Larger facilities that are going to have maybe, every attraction under the roof. and they want to make sure their guests have a great time, but it's not necessarily like, hey, this is the poster attraction we're putting on all of our social media, our website, like we're leading with this every time, kind of thing. That's a different experience than, hey, we're maybe a standalone laser tag, or we have laser tag and one other attraction, mini golf or arcades, or something like that. Those are two different experiences, right? So kind of figuring out what the level of immersion and the level of dedication you're going to put into that laser tag arena. Once you have those two things and you kind of have your space picked out and your size picked out, and then you kind of have the level of immersion and the detail and kind of how you want to go about things, that makes it pretty easy. From there, you're just kind of picking who you want to work with, what kind of equipment, building out the arena, theming, things like that. And that's fun, right? Those are kind of the fun parts of building out a laser tag arena.
Yeah. So a lot of communication goes on, a lot of Zoom meetings, maybe even some site visits and things like that.
Absolutely.
I know all y'all in the laser tag business that, you're not out just to make a dollar. You're out there to help people make sure it's right, because you want that good customer experience on your end as well. So
Yes, sir.
don't rush it. Basically, make sure you think it through and talk it through very well, and listen
Yes,
to
sir.
some advice from everybody that's in the world of laser tag, because they are here to help you. So
yeah, absolutely, Jeff.
So what's the largest arena that you've been involved in? What, as far as your equipment goes into an arena?
So just recently there was an installation, it's called the Edge, out in the Midwest, and it is huge. I mean, it's well over 12,000 square feet, massive arena. And I mean, 12,000 square feet is probably underselling it. I mean, it sounds big. And then, you start seeing pictures and videos and you're like, this is just massive. So they, about 60 players can go in there at a time. So it's huge. Yeah. And it's one of those things where the facility's big, so they have plenty of space to allocate to it, so they can do something like that. But that is a huge, massive project, a lot of fun. And not everybody's going to have 12,000 square feet, and you don't need 12,000 square feet. So, but yeah, that's a big one, cool project.
Yeah. And even in these outlets around the malls, I mean, some people could just have a laser tag business, rent that area out, and
Absolutely.
birthday parties, and it doesn't have to be a large facility, probably at least 2,500 square foot, you would think, to start out, maybe. And so if you've got a small spot, don't worry about it. Bring that laser tag into play, because I tell you what, it will bring in the revenue. I can promise you that. So
exactly. And Jeff, I mean, I've been in your arena, and it's not 12,000 square feet, but your guests are happy, and you're doing just fine. So like you said, size it's a factor, but it doesn't have to be the main factor, right? So even if you can just get 16 players in there, that's still fine, right? Average birthday size is probably going to be less than 16 players, laser tag players, right? So you're probably going to be okay being able to absorb that birthday party. And that's a big part of, when you are purchasing a system, is thinking, hey, what's going to be my average birthday party size, right? Are we talking 10 players, 12 players, 14 players? Some facilities, they do have bigger birthday parties, and we're talking about 20 people. So you kind of want to say, hey, can I absorb a whole birthday party, right? With one, one game of laser tag. So that's something to definitely consider when sizing it out.
Right. Well, Chris, how about some advice for those listening and watching right now, whether it be for laser tag equipment or starting up an FEC? You have some good advice to give these people?
Yeah, I think the number one thing, and Jeff, you touched on it, was be patient, do your research, talk to people. Everybody, that in the world of laser tag is probably almost assuredly, the people that I know in the industry, everyone's worked at a laser tag facility. Everyone's been a laser tag player. So, I mean, we've been on all sides of the picture, and now working to help people open laser tag facilities. So being patient, it is a process. It's not going to happen overnight. I mean, there's a lot that goes into it. But what I always tell people is it's tough to get open. It's not cheap to get open. But man, once you're open, you're gonna be glad you did, and it's pretty smooth sailing, right? I mean, and Jeff, I'd love to hear your feedback on that. it's a mountain of work getting open, that laser tag facility, right? And it's not cheap. But once it's open, operating costs are really low. It's a pretty smooth attraction to run. Maintenance is pretty low, things like that. Would you agree with that statement?
Oh,
It's front loaded, right? The work is front loaded.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just keep maintain your equipment, keep it up, make sure those batteries stay charged, they don't lose their memory, things like that. And try to watch out for guests with your equipment, not throwing the phasers around or whatever the case may be. Don't let them stay on the floor,
Right.
take care of them. And it'll last forever is what it seems like. Well, we've had zero issues. And again, the revenue is very, very good, Chris. Very good.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, it's good to have out there. And, like you said, it's kind of one of those things where if you take good care of it and you're on top of it, it's going to last a long time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So are you going to be at any conferences coming up at all? I know this may be playing after a future conference coming up, but where are you going to be at next?
Sure. So I'll be, you know me, Jeff. I'll be at all the shows. This time of the year, it's a busy season. LaserForce will be at Amusement 360. We'll be at the trampoline, the International Adventure Park and Trampoline Show. We'll be at FEC Success. We will be at the Southwest Bowling Show. Of course, we'll be at IAPA this year. So yeah, we'll be at them all. So just come say hi.
That'll be great. I will see you next week at Amusement 360. If you're going to be there or another representative, I'll be glad to talk to them. And everyone, if you don't know about that, look up these conferences on FECs. I personally, my team did not know anything about an FEC until we opened the doors, and then it was time to start learning. And there's all kinds of conferences out there, like Chris mentioned. There's IAPA. It's a big trade show. You can shop around for what you want to put in your facility. And be sure to look Chris up whenever you go to IAPA or any of these conferences, and I'm sure he'll be glad to talk to you.
I'm hard to miss. I'm a tall, lanky guy, Jeff, so I'm hard to miss.
And one more thing, Chris, about you, you can sing some karaoke too. I've witnessed that myself in our facility. So
he's lying. He's lying. I'm the worst. I love it. I love it. It's fun, but I'm no Jeff. Jeff can really sing, you guys. So
well, everyone, we appreciate you watching the FEC World Podcast. We had Chris with LaserForce on with us today, and we know that was valuable content like we promised on here. And we hope to see you on the next episode. Be sure to go to YouTube and subscribe to our channel and check us out on Facebook, the FEC World Podcast with Jeff Pierce, and we will see you next time.
Thank you for taking the time to enjoy this episode of the FEC World Podcast with Jeff Pierce. We hope you enjoyed today's episode filled with industry secrets and exciting updates. Be sure to subscribe to this show, leave us a review, and let us know what you think. Join us next week for more captivating interviews and essential tips from the FEC world. See you soon on the next FEC World Podcast.